One day, one day, he changed the world, they said. One day, one day, he'd do something great. One day, that guy, man, he should be president. I can't say those things have been said about me, at least not in any serious way. But why so serious? Why is it wherever you go, you got to be on guard and serious and hypervigilant? Is that how you grew up as a kid? Of course not, because as parents, and I am also a parent, wonderful kids. See, technically, a non-biological father to all these children, and obviously not one that has been there all the time to teach him all the things. And I'm sure back in ancient days that was so. And boy, am I missing out on a lot, because that is some of the most rewarding, beautiful experiences that I've ever experienced in my life. It touched my heart and it's changed me as a person. And if you see tears in my eyes, it's not because I'm sad, but it's because my heart is open and the fuck has to go. Yep, this video is not going to be edited like all of them. Aren't you tired of seeing edited videos? This is in the moment right now. I'm sharing a little bit of my life. This is my space. And there's a lot I could show you. There's a lot I'd be excited to show you. And will, if you want to. But we all, especially you old souls out there, you earth angels, we got to put up boundaries. Not boundaries as in, think of them more as indicators, right? They indicate, they help us navigate these consciousness, this ocean of consciousness, right? And when you and your ego work as a team because you made a deal to give up on obsessing about knowing everything and get into and excited about being a participant and engaging in the moment and showing up present. That doesn't mean you don't get to daydream or fantasize. It doesn't mean anything other than the intention of creating from truth, which has a lot more energy and is more powerful. This video is more powerful than some of my other ones. It's more saturated, it's clear, it's crisp, yet it's still a little bit hazy. But at the end of the day, we are all progressing. And I've been called to remember that everything was supposed to happen the way that it was supposed to happen. And to regret any part of my life doesn't honor anybody that I've been good to or not so good to, right? Because we're going through the human experience. You don't go away unscathed, but we no longer have to live in the paradigm of karma. That was the old energy. That is not the up and coming age of Aquarius, which is so philosophical and deep and like cool, but not really, right? Because being cool is being grounded and centered in your truth. You're not the villain, you're not the victim, and you don't have to be a hero. But you can make a difference. And that's by knowing where you're coming from, being okay where you're coming from, not having to navigate and create narratives that aren't co-created with others. That means when you're not around people and you start thinking those old pattern thoughts about them or you or how you're related to them, just remember, it's not that you're not diving into truth, everything's true. Everything is truth. That's the big secret that no one wants to tell you. It's all truth, the spectrum of truth, a hue, a spectrum, a hue, man, spectrum of manifestations. We are the manifestations. You don't have to manifest anything. You are God manifested in form. And that doesn't mean that you have the advantage and you're going to take anything from anybody. We all nurture each other. If this is all hypothetically, not for me, but maybe perhaps for you, and that's okay. In fact, that's honored, because this is a free will planet and you have the freedom of choice to experience your reality the way you want. And so do I. And a lot of us, I don't know about you, have wanted to suffer because we just felt like we were wrong, we were bad, we were unworthy, we were worthless, we were a lot of different things. But we were kind of arguing a point that when you actually get to terms with it in a like grounded sense, not an emotional sense where I'm like, can't look at it because it feels so hard, but you look at it and you go, oh, okay, well, that doesn't work. That's not an argument I could win. I can't ever not be worthy. Well, shoot, how many different beliefs and thought forms is that tied to? If you really start pulling out the roots, what's the core of it? It's going to be different for everybody, right? We're all as souls, individual, unique snowflakes, but we don't have to be snowflakers. And realize that now, what is the message you're receiving? I could speculate it's something along the lines of, I'm ready to be the king of my castle. I'm ready to allow sovereign consciousness. I'm allowed to play with this. And you don't gotta miss this bliss because it ain't bad to have feelings, to have a perspective. But it's even better to share that with another where you guys can debate it, disagree, conflict, paradoxically, respecting each other, because that's the whole point. And points are sharp, and we don't want to bleed our truths into these empty pages of sorrow and become an old country sad song that we repeat. Listen to yourself. Listen to your narratives. Take videos of yourself. Observe yourself. Read what you wrote. When someone calls you out on something and you don't feel like it's true, sit with that for a second and be like, well, how do I show this person respect? They have a question. It's okay not to answer. This is what boundaries are. It's okay to be, I believe I understand your truth, and you can repeat it in your own way. I don't have a lot of luck with that because I guess I come off a little bit jackass. Who knows? It's probably true. You get it? But I'm okay with myself because my intentions are clear. You don't have to gaslight yourself, and you don't have to be gaslit by others, even if their formula works for them. They don't have your soul's journey. That is a fact to be considered. Context. Catherine, thank you for teaching me context. I've been taught, I've been schooled, I've been learned by so many beautiful people in so many different ways that I didn't even realize when they're around. And absence makes the heart grow fonder. To me, the experience of absence allows both the ego and the soul to come to terms with each other, to realize that this works better when we work together, that we could both have what we want, that there is another way. If you, and this is just my suggestion through experiences, going through ego traps and setting trap doors for my own ego and testing out the law of attraction the most scientific way I know how, and don't get it twisted, it's not super scientific. But for 10 years, I've been using my own life as test subject for the law of attraction, testing out all different aspects of my beliefs, other people's beliefs, tearing them apart, replacing them, interchanging them, weaving them together, learning a core truth from that. That my narratives are malleable. That truth always is in our being, right? Not in our thinking. Though the way we think is part of our being. So in a lot of spiritualities and philosophies and beings of thoughts are going to be telling you about the ego. And they're going to be saying a lot of different things, a lot of different words. And it may be confusing or feel confusing. You may be feeling a certain way. I suggest you don't ever embody an emotion other than what's not even really emotion, but it's the source of all that is unconditional love. You can embody that. But you could feel the other emotions. I'm not saying repress them or hide them or whatever. I'm saying in your language, notice the way you're talking. See if you notice the difference. I'm angry. You did this and it made me angry. Or I am feeling anger. What just transpired caused a response. I would like to sit with that response because I don't want to project that anger onto somebody else when it really has to do with the relationship between me and me, the fundamental core of all emotions. Regardless of the conditions. That's conditional love, guys, not unconditional love. This is the school of unconditional love, meaning that there's no shame, no guilt, no fear, and we anchor here together. Why? Because you're following your highest excitement, and if this is your highest excitement, the old me would have felt bad. And do you hear that? How many times do we feel for other people? I suggest you empaths get off your scripts because I was on them and I was subscribed to all these empathic scripts of sensitive. But when you delve deeper, when I delve deeper, I realized sensitive also means empowered. There's always a polarity. You know, as Abraham Hicks would say, or Esther, two ends of the stick. So you start reverse engineering. When you notice you're having a thought form or an expression or a perspective that feels a little bit heavy and negative, get excited. Pivot. And do that little dance because all you got to do is download your own mental app, right? Look, what does technology teach us? Out, within, above, below, micro, macro. Start doing micro differences in your routine. Allow your intentions to flow through the rituals you create in your everyday life, and we all have them. But allow these rituals to serve you, to empower you. Don't worry about being accurate. Have a little fun, for God's sake, okay? Don't take life so seriously. Why so serious? Because Jesus said, love thy enemy. Jesus was talking about the ego because there is no such enemy. Enemies don't really exist. You don't have to believe that, but it's something to consider, and to consider what I mean by that, to ask questions. I lead off with controversial things. I don't give you the juicy, good knowledge, the good wisdom until you ask. And isn't that how our Creator works with us? All we got to do is ask. We don't got to steal. We don't got to compete. We don't have to race. We don't have to worry. And if we're ever concerned that if we don't do this or this, that this will happen, we are balls deep in our blessed, creative, beautiful, wonderful, helpful ego, which allows us to be a separate persona. Experience this experience. I'm glad you guys are watching. I am putting an intention in this video, a magic trick, if you will, that this gets to those of us in the collective. Not only did it needs to, but they've been asking for a reflection that tests the limits. New Earth, welcome to the Rainbow Warrior Tribe.